We are going to be improving, ladies and gentlemen, on development communication, and this is my last point, on human settlement. The weakness in this government, ourselves, is that we have not been communicating effectively with the citizens. We have developed a strategy with all communicators of municipalities who are responsible for communicating municipal services and programs, with ourselves at Provincial Department of Human Settlement and COGTA, and we hope that the strategy will be implemented in a way that will create social stability. Often when you hear people that you cover in protests and all kinds of reasons that makes them go to the streets, and they've got the right to do that, but not violently. But when you listen at the reasons that have taken them to the streets, it's either the council has not communicated properly with them, or as Department of Human Settlement, because in most cases, these people want houses, and if you listen at them, it is because we have not communicated effectively with them. And communicating doesn't mean calling a press conference. We actually mean putting into place communication structures where everybody who represents an interest in the community will belong to development participatory fora. And this forums will interact with Deputy Director General Communication and his team, basically to consistently and of course with precision on projects, so as not to create expectations that will not be delivered by government, to ensure that every stakeholder is informed about what is available, what can be done, and for how much, and what is the expectation from government with regard to those that will be recipients of this development. And we think once we put this development strategy of communication into place, we will be able to stabilize and reduce the social unrest hitherto associated with human settlement, service delivery, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be working around the clock with the Department of Cooperative Governance, Local Government and Traditional Affairs, with human settlement, of course, and other departments of government, to ensure that we develop a communication strategy that seeks to involve people in the planning phases of development right up to cradle, so that people are part of development. Because we think one of the reasons why people are resorting to the streets is because they think that government is not keen to listen to their grievances. The beneficiary administration, which has been a key problem. We built houses. In some cases, we know who are we building these houses for, but we are not allocating people in time into these houses. And then criminals takes over, and they lead people into occupying these houses. The consequence is that then we need to employ the security company to guard the houses or to evict these people if they have not occupied these properties for more than 48 hours, as it has been decided by the Constitutional Court, that if you have occupied property for 48 hours, you will need to apply to the courts to grant you the right to evict these people without alternative accommodation. Now, we think that this is not what the Constitutional Court intended. In the case of Grootboom and others in the Western Cape, it was not really an intention of the Constitutional Court to justify or legalize those that have violated the law by occupying properties illegally. To that extent, we're working very hard around the clock to improve our beneficiary administration system in a way that will stabilize this area. And we are moving now to a regime where people whose houses have been built will be informed through technology, and when they get into the houses, they must get a title deed immediately. In fact, when you start the foundation, the people that are beneficiaries of that foundation must know that that foundation is constructed for them. And we are working around the clock to link beneficiary allocation with the title deeds going forward, so that when you get a house, you get the title deed immediately. So this is a Department of Human Settlement ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell. The last point is on fighting corruption again. As we have said, in local government, we are also putting mechanisms in place to ensure that we fight corruption in the department. Now, we would want the media to become a partner as well in this case. Every citizen needs to be a whistleblower to expose any acts of corruption. And I think where corruption allegations are made, of course, let us not find people guilty before the courts, find them guilty, because there's a rule of law in this country. But the way allegations of corruption are made, let us investigate, and we must do it with rapidly so that the issues are addressed, and we are certain about our commitment in that regard, so that the citizens can take us serious that we are indeed fighting against corruption and fraud in the department. There are several cases that are currently under investigation. Some of them are under forensic investigation by our Department of Treasury, Provincial Treasury, and at appropriate time we'll make announcement with regards to what we are going to be doing about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a human settlement budget in a nutshell. All what we can say and call on our people in the province is that they must pay for services. Let us create a culture where citizens take responsibility to pay for services, because as we have said in the COGTA budget, without paying for services, we will not be able to take the country forward. Let me conclude to say that we are restructuring the department without changing policy. In this case, we are basically bringing in the capacity that has been everywhere else in this department and often duplicated. You have municipalities doing housing. You have a Department of Human Settlement having offices of human settlement also in the province. Now you understand. Already you have created two bureaucracies. Department of Human Settlement, regional office, then you've got the municipality. It is a period between just getting the two to speak to each other and the head office. And the consequence is that invoices are advanced and people take 8 months, 6 months, 10 years, whatever many. There are people who have not been paid from 2014 in this department. They are troubling me every day with regard to their demands for payment. I don't deal with those issues, I don't know. When I receive a complaint, I give it to the HOD and Chief Financial Officer will deal with that. What I'm concerned about is a mean machine for human settlement, which is engineered to deliver houses that have been budgeted for in the province. And we think that through rationalization of human resources, we will be able to create this mean machine at head office. It means we are going to centralize planning so that planning, procurement, if it's not been assigned to the municipality, it's a provincial program, is done at head office. Interaction between the Township Register, Surveyor General, National House Builders Registration Council, National Department of Human Settlement through Housing Development Agency, our Gauteng partnership